Welcome to Circle of Hearts Radio. Journey with Grandmother Allayah as she enters her magical world of relics, sacred sites, and ancient crystal skulls. Meet with exciting trailblazer authors and individuals shifting the consciousness of humanity. Send her your questions to be answered on air on her monthly segment, Ask the Oracle. And now your host, Grandmother Allayah, in the sanctuary on the airwaves on OMTimes Radio.
Circle of Hearts on OMTimes Radio. I'm Allayah, your host for this hour. Actually, when I'm welcoming you from the airwaves into my own personal sanctuary. As I broadcast from my office, I realize this is where I have all my ancient relics. So, in attendance, joining you energetically in this particular hour, we have 6 ancient crystal skulls, and we have many beautiful jade, ancient Buddhas and Kuan Yins, and some Dropadisc, and a lot of energy relics that were found in ancient civilizations. So, and then I have the real pleasure of bringing in amazing souls that Spirit has led me to. And in this case, it was a similar. I always say this. I had a friend that says, I want you to meet somebody. She's a channel of source. I'm thinking, oh, wow. And then I connected with our next guest, Judy Guadalupe, on Facebook. We made a time arrangements just to meet briefly. And the one word I can use is I truly was transformed. You know, she has in her bio transformational author, etc. But her presence is transforming. She introduced me to light language, which she'll talk about, and many of the other things that she does to help to facilitate people in this awakening process. So we have a lot to talk about. And first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Judy. How are you, Judy?
Hi, I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah. Are you dealing with the weather out there with you, or?
Yeah, here in Sacramento, it is raining, which we really, truly need. So the earth and all her bounty out here are very, very happy.
Jersey is ready. I can't wait for spring.
Mm-hmm.
We're, cornered in our houses during, this particular rain, even from opposite sides. I like to, start off our talk on spiritual transformation in the now. There's so many heavy downloads of energies coming, and people are experiencing them. And do you have some thoughts on this? I mean, how for people to deal with things, or just in general? I think there's this huge help sign going out from the earth to the universe saying, we need help.
Well, can you hear me okay, Eli? I just wanted to make sure that my microphone's fine. You can hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Well, I like to talk a little bit briefly about the consciousness and the evolution of consciousness. And we live on a planet that at one point, everyone that was here believed that the earth was flat. And during that time, there was a group of people who began to expand their consciousness enough that it included a new paradigm or a new understanding of where we are and who we are. And they knew that the earth was round. Now, the people that believed and knew the earth to be flat, that was their reality. And those that began to believe it was round were thought to be crazy and strange. And this has happened again and again and again over the experience of time on Earth in the evolution of consciousness. So now I like to quote Bruce Lipton. He talks about who we are now, and he talks about the experience of a caterpillar into a chrysalis and then into a butterfly. And in this experience of a caterpillar, when the chrysalis is when the caterpillar moves into chrysalis, it's a complete death in a sense of the caterpillar. And in that muck, in that heaviness, as you mentioned, there's this transformation occurring, and then there's some cells that he calls the imaginal cells. Now these imaginal cells are the cells that know themselves butterfly. So the DNA of these imaginal cells begins to vibrate in the potential of butterfly. And this happens over time until all the cells then join those imaginal cells. So I like to call those of us who are on the planet and are in this experience of awakening and a consciousness where we are understanding that the paradigm of the earth being flat for us has been the paradigm of a belief that we were separate from our source, God, the divine, our source, and separate from each other. And we are realizing that, in fact, we are living in it's coming to a point where the scientists now too are no matter what they do with their big microscopes to try to find the solidness and the matter of us, they come up to the fact that we are actually vibration. And so from that understanding, we're beginning to realize that what we do does affect all life, and that we are connected to all life. And so the scientists are even calling this final vibrational reality of us the God particle, and or they're using the word love. I had the great opportunity to go to the Science and Non-Duality Conference, which had great spiritual teachers and great scientists and physicists and astronauts all present, speaking their own languages, but in a sense saying the same thing. So what we're getting to do, what are the privilege of those of us who are living on the earth at this time, is that we're letting go of a collective belief system that was based on separation, an idea that we were survival of the fittest, an idea that we were a species of competition, when in fact now we're realizing we're a species of cooperation, and there's more and more people on the planet now whose intention is to realize this. It's not something we have to go back and fix in us or in the world, because that was built on a collective reality that we were separate. And instead, we get to open up to new understandings and new consciousness. And Einstein says, no solution can be found with the same consciousness that created the problem. And thus we have young people coming in. And of course, you probably heard about indigo children, star children. And the labels aren't all that important, but it's the consciousness that's coming in, that new solutions to all that's happening on the planet and within us is now available to us.
I notice this, it's not even, in listening to you, some things were just dawning on me. It's all about balance. It's about, science, spirituality, male, female, it's the whole balance of the collective energy. Um, Scientists are evolving also. I think they've reached something inside themselves that's starting to accept their spirituality, and they're thinking outside of the predetermined box that they learned from. So
Yes. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. So
And quantum physicists, I mean, that's the exciting part of it. And because we're redefining how we have to prove something. And so I'd like to take that for all of us on the call into the personal a little bit. So if everyone would like to take a deep and really full breath and just let the breath come in through your nose and fill you, and just have the intention for the rest of this call to ask yourself to move from listening from the analytical mind into listening from your heart. So just take a really, really deep and full breath and just let go of any tension and stress for the moment. And just for the next time that Allayah and I have together, allow yourself to keep moving back into the heart. What I do when I get into my limiting mind that can be self-critical, that can be judgmental of other or self, I say to it, thanks for sharing. I choose love. And I drop into the intelligence of the heart, because we're all finding that this is our true intelligence. So if we look into any great spiritual teacher, Jesus saw the suffering of the world, and what he accessed was what he called the peace that passes understanding. And boy, if we don't need that on the planet right now, because if we only see from our human eyes, we only see the suffering. We see our own suffering, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. The plagues of our times are physical and mental illness, along with addiction. And so if we only see from the human eyes, then we stay on the hamster wheel of that being the only reality. What Jesus taught us is deeper beyond this reality. In us, we have access to the connection to source, which is the peace that passes understanding. Buddha would call it the middle way. And it's not, Buddha would say it's not the going out there and trying to relieve suffering from a place of suffering yourself. And it's not cutting yourself off from everything and being an aesthetic where you can, don't let yourself live fully. It's the middle way where, in fact, what we're realizing collectively now is that we get to access this peace that passes understanding that's available to us no matter what is happening in our lives, no matter what's going on in the world, in your personal life, in your body. It's not the easiest thing in the world to access when you're going through deep and painful crisis or physical illness, and yet it's still available to you. It's what Jesus was able to experience, that allowed for the crucifixion and the resurrection. So
let's go. We're into our
conscious minds in the world.
I know
OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
The Conscious Parenting Radio Show provides inspiration and resources for loving, empowering, and respecting your children and yourself. Join me, Timothy, every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as we consciously explore proven ways of living together in happiness, health, and harmony.
Join Elliot Jolish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jolish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jolish Hour. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Well, we're back and we're talking to Judy Guadalupe, and she's a very conscious channel for Source, and the most beautiful message that comes through. And on that frame of thought, Judy, can you You really exposed me to light language. Can you explain to our listeners a little bit exactly what is light language and how did you first connect with it and how is it part of our evolutionary process?
Yes, I'd love to. Excuse me. I wanted to, and I can bring this right into there. When I was mentioning about the imaginal cells in the chrysalis of a butterfly, um, these imaginal cells are those of us now on the planet who know um, the who have opened to this next experience of ourselves as connected. And so a lot of us feel like we've been very, very different. We feel like we've been weird and crazy, and that's the imaginal selves as we all realize our multidimensional nature, our eternal nature, that this bodily experience is not all of who we are, and we get to include that more and more of the consciousness and realization of our greater nature and remain in the body without being harmed. And it's a collective experience. Now, when I first started with this light language, I was going off to work where I did some spiritual guidance and stuff. And on the way there, I had a friend, Alex, and it was going to be his 75th birthday. And a message I got inwardly was give Alex a session. So as I got there, I said, for your birthday, I want to give you a session. We went in and we were just doing it normally. I was talking in English in this session, and without preparation on my part, this language just started coming through. And he and I both sat at the end of it with tears running down our face. And he said, Judy, that was home. So it was very powerful and very heartwarming. And at the same time, I said out loud, I can't do this. I'm already weird enough. I said, my kids think I'm weird. I'm not going to be speaking some weird language. you know? And so I had resistance to, oh, come on. And in some traditions, some people might say it's akin to speaking in tongues. I don't know. So I started to do some research about it and found many people that this language is coming through. And then I was told that I'm a universal translator. So what I find is that when I'm with a group, I bring through the language and everyone hears it a little bit differently. Some will hear Sanskrit, some will hear an ancient Asian language or Celtic or native indigenous. And so then when I'm with people individually, when I place my hands on them, a specific language will come through for them that speaks directly to the soul. So what I've learned is that I just have to get used to being weird, I guess. And what for me, it got to the point where I know if it wants to come through, then it is a soul message. And so I just trust that and I bring it through. So light language speaks directly to the soul. It's seed syllables. I don't study or know the language. Sometimes I can feel the vibration of what I'm bringing through in the different dimensions. It may feel angelic in nature. It may feel ancient. It may feel more of an earth uh, vibration. So that's how it kinds. And I'm sure as I'm talking, I can feel that I will speak a little bit for us today so people can have that experience.
Great.
I remember your experience. That was so profound. I loved that.
Yeah, that's why I use the words. It was very transforming. All of a sudden, the dialect came in Asian, which I'm very connected to ancient China. And then I told Judy afterwards, I said, I see this huge angel in front of me with this fire language across, its breast. And she goes, oh. What do you mean? Oh. I see a lot of different things, but I never see this huge angel in front of me. So,
Yeah, it's such a wonderful time. I mean, such an intense time. And this is why not be one of the imaginal cells? Why not decide that you're going to experience and experiment in coming into your heart and soul and asking source or the powers that be to support you in having a broader view of who you are and what life is. Because from this place, you become one of the imaginal selves, and you support the whole planet moving towards a new experience of who we are and how we collectively work together. Excuse me, where love is the bottom line and not money, where cooperation is the bottom line and not greed and competition. And, you know, we don't collectively have to be against anything or push against. It's just been an evolution. And now there's enough. My son said that his dad and I are weird. And I said, well, there's enough of us weirdos here now. So there's more and more of us who are getting to realize this. So wherever you find yourself today, go ahead and take a deep breath. And allow the exhale again to open your mouth and just do a big ha sound. And take a few breaths like that. This is where you signal to your brain to let go of adrenals and adrenaline and making your life happen and move into what's called the oxytocin breath. So inhale through the nose and then open up. And that allows you to signal to the brain to let go of some dopamine and serotonin, some of the softer hormones that help you move from mental to the heart and into, instead of action and making something happen, into allowing and receptivity. See, because on the planet, in this collective reality of separation, we believed that we were cut off from source and that we were less than, and that we are inherently, what words we want to use, but inherently sinners or inherently bad on some level. Well, sin actually means to miss the mark. And the way that I see it is we missed the mark that this unconditional loving source is always available to us. So collectively, some call it reclaiming the feminine. The feminine and masculine of the divine is not separate, it's one. And the feminine energy, or the yin energies, is simply our ability to receive the inspiration, unconditional love and guidance that is always available to us. When we collectively agreed to live in a world where we believed ourselves separate from that, we felt cut off from this feminine or from the unconditional loving compassion of source. And so now collectively we are realizing that that love has it and always is available to us. And so we're finding ways to bring that into our reality. And some of them might be like the people who knew the earth to be round. It might be a little weird and crazy, but let yourself do a little exploration. So we'll take a deep breath and then and bring yourself into your heart and let yourself listen with your heart and soul. Diaroho om laim daim the kalahara shinyoreroya. Lori lahmaim yataim yahamoria. Laim takataria moriam. Lim de hatalitaliatea hoimaya. Lom yahayam delearom. Shim lata teatroin yaha. O laim yataya matakao nyaparaya rosha. Liam yatain yarom. Om yata mahaa sholiatain. Lim dareatrom maim dalalash. Lom yaha aria bom.
Wow.
And with your breath, imagine that the top of your head is open and you're saying, okay, I open to receive inspiration, unconditional love, healing, guidance, joy, whatever's available from the heavens. The same moment, open up your feet and your root or the base of your spine and say, okay, I open to receive nurturing and nourishment and strengthening from the earth. We're all vibration. The earth is vibration. Source is vibration. You are vibration. So you're receiving from above, from below. And now every cell in this universe you call your body is alive because of love. And no matter what your experience is, there's a core essence in every cell that is and knows itself as this light and love. So for the next few moments, when we go into this break in a little bit, allow yourself to let the light come in from above, from below, and from within. The nuclei of every cell, like a pink ball of fire just bursting forth from without. And let that light release any cellular memory of lack and limitation, of illness, of fear, of anger. And just allow yourself for the next few moments to breathe in and out and to have the intention simply of bathing in unconditional love and kindness for yourself, in letting yourself just in this moment be enough, just as you are, who you are. Nothing has to be different. And let yourself be willing to open, to connect to the essence of you as love pours in. Thanks.
Tony, as you're speaking, like I've always told you, I'm very visual. I see the Divine Mother energy in her many forms, whether it's Mary or, the goddess energy or Kuan Yin or whatever culture. And I see this beautiful heart. It just seems like with your transmission, it was being from that heart space of the Divine Mother was being broadcasted all over. So it was very, very profound. And like I said, as everybody just all assimilates this, you'll find that during the week, so many different things are going to be coming to you, and you'll be experiencing, maybe right at the moment you may go, well, this is interesting, but I'm not feeling anything. But watch it. It's going to happen. So now as we enter into our next break, just hold on to these energies for a while and just bathe in love.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue-collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Welcome back. And I don't know about listeners out there, but I'm still in this heart space. Plus a little teary-eyed at the moment. So as time is... the hour goes so quickly. There's so much that I want people to understand about your work. Is that I saw on Facebook you have the Goddance
Oh,
dance.
the God dance. Yeah.
When I first saw that, I want you to go into it a little bit more, but I got the feeling of music and almost like the whirling dervishes, how they connect to spirit. Can you go into it a little bit more about your book and what you want to express about this?
Yes, I'd love to. The God dance came, I was writing, and the word came out. I was intending the word guidance. And I looked down on the paper and it said Goddance. And, when something comes through that is that vibration of transmission almost. I just felt this feeling of that's it, that we are in our imaginal cells realizing butterfly. We're realizing collectively in the midst of great suffering, yes, on the physical plane, we're realizing that there's in us this divinity, and each of us, as we access that, become more and more conscious God dancers on the planet. In other words, our presence, as Marianne Williamson, I believe, says, automatically liberates another as we realize who we are. And it's not something, looking to be famous or even an expert in anything. The only thing we're being called to do in our God dance is to be an expert at being yourself, is be an expert at being who you are. And imagine, I work a lot with children. We do a lot with education and bringing emotional intelligence into the school systems. And imagine if the first day you went to kindergarten and your teacher said, we, like the many indigenous and Aboriginal tribes do, they feel about this child and they say, welcome to our community, and you are a unique expression of divinity, and we are excited to see who you'll be, and we are going to surround you with all the materials that you need for the production of the beautiful through you, and it's going to be unique, and we're just excited to see what it is. Imagine if this is the kind of imagine as over time this becomes the kind of education or the kind of vibrational reception our children get and we get, and it's that and then we continue to surround them with materials for their uniqueness. The education the way it is, and again, I always like to say we're not against anything. It's simply been a collective experience. And yet the education the way that it has been, a lot has slipped through the cracks. A lot of people and the children being born today are great souls who are helping us. They're not fitting in the box, so that we wake up to see the box has to be discarded, and we get to figure out new ways of educating and being there for and with and learning from and sharing with our youth. So the God dance is the celebration of each and every one of us, and our uniqueness, your unique blueprint of your divinity, your God dance. And yes, the groups I do, we do move our bodies some so that we can shake out really the cellular memory of our limits and our lack. And yet it's not the freeing our God dance is not a dancing group. And yet we are like whirlishing dervishes on this planet where we're needing to shake out old and limited thought forms and belief systems so that we collectively get to experience new and expanded experiences. These youth get to bring through solutions that we can't see yet. That's what Einstein said, and so instead of focusing on what's not working in our own lives or on the planet, we get to collectively focus on how we can free our own God dance and live from this moment forth with the realization I didn't know before that I have this divinity divinity within me and available to me. So we're kind of like infants learning how to do it. And so, find for yourself others who want to dance their God dance and learn new ways to do it wherever you live, whoever you're with. That's the collective. That's what I'd like to invite all of us together. The first time I did it on a radio show with Creating Calm Network, a gentleman called me and he said, all I kept picturing was we're all going to buy new dancing shoes. So buy yourself some new dancing shoes. You don't have to fix anything that's broken in you. We get to collectively realize that we have divinity within us no matter what's going on, and we're eternal beings. My mother just recently passed, and in her choosing hospice and in her process of dying, which is really truly a birth, she has touched me and my family so deeply, and the transformation and the love that was present in her death experience is beyond what I can tell you. And I feel my mother's continued God dance and her broader view, her freedom from a body that was in pain, and yet her message and the message of our times is the veil between us and spirit is not as thick as we thought. She's very available to me now and to us. And so are all your loved ones, and so are what some would call angels or guides or source itself. So find ways to let yourself explore, if you choose, the veil and how thin the veil really is. And the other thing that I feel from my mother, it would be too long for me to tell some of the experiences, but is that the message for our times is we can know our eternal nature and stay in the body. And we've all been clearing collective belief systems that if we step into our true light and speak our truth, we will be harmed in some way. And some of us have had past experiences that's true, and collectively it's in our soul memory. So we have been moving through those old emotions of fear and terror and feeling guilty and not feeling good enough, and all the emotions of the past. We've been moving through those. Now we get to understand emotion as energy in motion. So don't be afraid of your emotions. Ride them, go through them. It's energy in motion, because on the other side of them is what's true. And so it's been we've been living, and that's why so many of us have felt very strange and like we don't fit in, and we move away from things. And now we're collectively seeing that almost everybody has that inside of themselves. There's some kind of feeling of not enoughness, or some kind of feeling of separation, or and great fears and anger and rage and all the rest of it. It's collective. And so in these moments that we live, our job is to be kind to ourselves first, wherever we are, whoever we are. And when we do that, we stop judging others outside of ourselves. And then when we do that, our communities change. And then we do that, we don't judge another nation or another religion, and we allow diversity, and we become these, unconditional love in action. And this is the shift we're talking about, Allayah. This is the shift we're talking about, the transformation in consciousness. This is the butterfly that the imaginal cells are vibrating at, in a reality where unconditional love is the bottom line. The challenge is to be able to vibrate there when we're not seeing it all across the board in our loved ones, in our bodies, maybe in our world. So any reality that is on this planet was an idea first. So those of us who can, and we all can, as we come together and vibrate together in this love, we become the imaginal cells that vibrates butterfly, or vibrates a world where love is the bottom line before it appears, So we are the visionaries, and it's not always easy. So continue to find yourself support with people who that's their intention too. So when you go off into a place of where you need healing or support, the people around you don't see you as broken. They see you as allowing who you truly are to move through all this collective idea, who you thought you were, really. So we're closing the gap between who we thought we were as limited beings to who we truly are as divine and eternal nature. And this has never happened before. So we are imaginal selves. We are the crazy ones. And so I'd like to introduce the idea that no matter what you're going through, find people that laugh and play and make each other laugh. I cannot say that while my mother was dying, my family came together in such a unique and beautiful way, and everyone's different and everyone could just be themselves. And laughter and joy. My mother brought so much joy in her presence, and she gifted every single one of us with this unfathomable joy and in the midst of the sorrow. So it's all there. We're all of it. We get to experience all of it when we're in form. That's what duality is. Through our sorrow, we know joy. The feminine, the masculine, the dark, the light. So a tool is to just ask yourself to let go little by little of resistance to what is, and let what is be. And from that place dropping in, we have so much resistance and judgment of what is. And if we can move from judgment and resistance into allowing, then that's the doorway to that peace that passes understanding. So everybody take a deep, deep, full breath and let go again. So the God dance, back to your question, the God dance is you. You are a God dance. Whoever you are, you can call it the goddess dance if you like the feminine. To me, God is all of it. Some people don't like the word, then call it the love dance. Call it whatever it is, but it's your divine nature that is available, and there's support for you to be able to access it more and more these days.
I think that we're all coming out of the dark ages again. If you look at, briefly, as you look at history, there's been periods, people that are aware of Lemuria and Atlantis. This was golden ages for them. Then we enter a period of darkness, and we come out of it, and we go into it. And now I think we're emerging into the light again.
Woohoo!
So let's continue.
The best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
The Laying Out of Hands Healing Radio Show is about treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Join me, Charles Smith, as I share life-balancing measures such as nutrition and spiritual practices to help you take charge of your own health and wellness every Thursday at 7 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
Know what to do, just can't figure out how to fit it all into your busy life? It doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Ellen Baisberg from Seamless Life. Join me every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio and learn the how of conscious living. Let me and my guests help make your life seamless.
Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
We're back again with Judy Guadalupe. Judy, this hour has gone far too fast. There's so many things to cover that we haven't covered. One important message you seem to consistently brought out is to free your spirit to be who you are. Now, if you have, briefly before we have to wind down the show, for me to give my message and for next show, what pearl of wisdom or gem of wisdom would you like to leave the listeners with? Something that you want them to carry into their hearts from now on?
Well, if it's anything, I feel like the times we're in now, there's so much separation and judgment of each other and of what's gone on, and of different religions, of different spiritual paths, of science, of the new age. And what I would like to invite us all into is the practical realization of, in this moment, goodness and kindness and love exists as your very nature, and that as you allow that to come from within you, that, and as you let yourself move in, when you have these thoughts, any thoughts that are self-critical or judgmental, just say thanks for sharing and drop into your heart. I call it the do drop in, and just drop into your heart and say thanks for sharing. I choose love, and see what your heart and soul says about what you're thinking. If it doesn't feel good, see if your heart and soul has a new perspective for you. We don't this isn't some weird new agey woo-woo thing. This is a very grounded and practical time we're all living in, that we're seeing a world that feels to be falling apart and unraveling. And if we understand it or come together with people that welcome the unraveling from the realization that the unraveling will uncover the truth of our loving essence and connection. And it may take time to see it all in the world, but those of us who are here, and the youth coming in, and the way the education and thing is changing, we will see that, and that you're allowing yourself to access your inner peace that passes understanding, and your own ability to, in this moment, be kind and loving to yourself and others. It's just back to the basic golden rule, truly. Yeah, I think that's the gem that I'd like to leave you with. It's not something too far out. It's right here and right now and present. So just keep saying, okay, if it's true, fill me from within, from above, from below, and from every which way with this love, and let yourself feel it as the energy and light that it is. So that's it. And we have a lot of time, so yeah.
You put us into such a heart space, and I think people have really got a sense of who you are and your work. Where can they contact you? I know I have some information on the program page on the Circle of Hearts Radio on time.
Yeah, well, radio. Okay, great. Yeah, I was going to have a page for all the listeners today, and my website's getting upgraded and it didn't get on in time. So anyone that would like to sign up for my newsletter, judyguadalupe.com, you can sign up, and anybody that signs up from from here on will get that page, and you'll get a couple of there's an upcoming actually free teleconference call, and then we do Freeing Our Goddance Women intense awakening intensives for women. I work with parents, and I'll be up in Canada and Alberta and British Columbia in March. So you'll get a list of what's happening and some specials for being Allayah's listeners. And I continue to listen to her as well. She's bringing us some really wonderful people and messages. Thanks, Allayah.
Thanks, Judy. And I really, seriously, if you want to further your own understanding of what's going on, contact Judy through her website. Sign up for her newsletter. Keep in touch. She's definitely stepping out into the world. She's very well known in her fields and stuff, but that's why I was so excited to be able to have this show on, OMTimes radio, because I think their heart purpose is to offer information to humanity, whether it's, the OMTimes e-zine or Humanity Heals organization, and now they've stepped into the using, the radio through the internet, and we're able to bring you people. Let's say if you're in China, you're seeing people here, Australia. We're starting to, mix and match here. I'll have some people on from the Southern Hemisphere. So we're all getting to know each other as one big family. So this is what's extremely exciting. Now, in this quick wind down, before we have to go, and again, I thank Judy, and time was too short. We didn't even cover half of the things that we wanted to cover.
We did perfectly.
She put us in this heart space, which is a beautiful feel. And what's interesting is a few days ago, I wrote my ending for the show, and I think you'll notice that it comes from the heart space and connection. So we're very aligned. So as Judy has said, let's take just a deep breath and listen to this message and feel our hearts beat as one. It goes, join with me and every man and woman and child on earth. Let one heart action create a golden age through thought, feelings, words, actions, beliefs, and memories. So be it. It is done now and forever. I am my heart energy, and I am one with the hearts of all humanity. We are one heartbeat, one breath, one voice, one consciousness, and pure divine love. Om Pa Te Me Hu, may love fill your heart. In Ilah Umfahmeh, and let light show your way. Now, getting back from that heart space and entering into next week show. Next week, join with me as we talk to Nancy Oakes, a very talented and sacred activist and writer. Nancy will be on Sunday, February 5th, 2015 on Circle of Hearts Radio, IOM-FM, at 2 p.m. And check your time zone and click for an hour talk and topic on the arrival of the new world, a discussion of LGBT topics, the return of Jesus and Sophia, and the role we play in the needs of our family of humanity. Nancy's a very vocal activist and brings through much divine mother wisdom. So all these shows just seem to, they fit together like one big puzzle. So it really is very exciting. And then also, if you get a chance on OMTimes Radio, check out the other hosts. I mean, I'm very grateful that you're here with me in my little sanctuary of the ancients here, and all this energy is supporting all your own enlightenment and hoping to touch your heart. But check out all the other hosts and their programs, because they're all there for you. This portal space of the radio, the internet, has been open to the world. So let's, as a humanity, one large consciousness, one heart. Let's use all the information available to us so that we may grow and become tolerant of each other and to understand our own spiritual needs and see other souls in different lights and come to a great understanding. We have great opportunities here. In both on my program and in all the other hosts, if you just take the time to read what they have to offer, each host has something that will touch your life in some way or another. So take advantage of, this space of energy, which is it's a collective space. It's sharing. It's not a time of teachers. It's a time of sharing.
Yeah, that's what I love that. I love that. Yeah.
And many of us are
And using the technology, right? Right, Allayah? Using technology for the one heart. That's where it's really we're collecting, like you're doing people from all over the world. Thank you for that. The collective heart.
That's why I chose the name. I mean, I've always been associated with the name Circle of Hearts because it is my vision to bring diverse groups together, diverse communities together through understanding and awareness. And Spirit has shown me many wonderful people, and it just keeps on building and building. If you take time to listen, just open your heart and open your mind. You may not always agree with what everything's being said, but I have a great respect for you for being here, for you listening, and taking a chance. So until next week,